Hey there, Chad here. Thanks for joining me. This is Rising Star 2 with the band Inches from Glory. It is Sunday, July 16th, and it is a fantastic day to release an album. So we are going to do exactly that. We are going to head down to the studio. You know what? We're going to drive just to commemorate the the event. We're going to drive on down there to Pinnell Studios. We're going to hang the right here at Main Street. I don't know if it's Main Street. Who knows? But there you go. We'll call it Eureka. Yeah, it's Eureka Street. So we're going to go inside. Not a whole lot left to do for this. We're going to literally hit Assemble CD, and we are going to click a new beginning, and we're going to release the CD. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. We're going to release it with 10 tracks. We could release it with up to 12. Nothing wrong with doing that. We don't have great songs yet, so let's just not, muddy the waters. We're going to release it with the 10. There we go. A new beginning has been released. Yay. Okay. Lots of fanfare and hoopla. And let's go ahead and head on. You know what? I think we're going to do a celebratory. Never mind. Wow. We are going to celebratory by mowing a yard. We'll do a cemetery here. Make an extra $100. Not really must having the money, but we're here, and why not go ahead and grab what we can. We have some things we do need to do now that we have released the album. We need to tour. Yes, we're going to do a quick tour. Oh, real quick, one of the things I did over the last few days, I did go in and visit a couple of local establishments to help bump up reputation. I did discover that there is not a one-for-one relationship between the number of bands and the relation or the reputation bump. I went to one place that only had one band playing, and I got a +4 for that. So I guess that just looked like it might be a correlation there for a bit, but it doesn't appear that there is a direct correlation there. Nonetheless, we need to talk to our manager, and we need to get our manager booking us a tour. Real quick, where are we popular? We want to be popular everywhere, right? I mean, that makes sense, but we've really only been in the Midwest here. So there's a couple of strategies we could try here. We could just focus on these states where we have some reputation. We could do a tour in areas that we are not at all popular. I don't know that there's a noticeable difference in what that does for you. When you do tour, you're generally booking the high-end places, so you don't get reputation bumps because it's not the local establishments, which is where reputation appears to come from. So if we do a 60-city tour, we won't see 60 more cities added here. That's just not going to happen. So that's why I'm not quite sure what the mechanic is on what makes the most sense for us to do. But there is a piece of me that thinks that touring outside of our comfort zone maybe isn't the worst thing. And I'm kind of leaning towards maybe doing that. So we're going to say book a tour. And I think we've done this already in this playthrough. But just in case we haven't, we get to name the tour A New Beginning. And we do get to decide if we're going to be the headliner or if we are going to be the opener. And there's honestly good reasons to be the opener. And that is if you tour with a huge band, you're going to be in front of a lot of fans. If you're the opener, our popularity is only 9 right now. We're going to be playing in those 700 person facilities. That's really, it's how it works, and it is how it works, right? Inches from Glory, the real band, is playing in the 300 to 500 seat kind of places. They are not filling stadiums yet. And, that's fine. They don't need to be filling stadiums right now. But when we do this, what we can see is we pick a band we want to travel with, and this is their role in the lineup, not ours. This is what they will be. So all these more popular bands than us, they're going to all be the headliner and we would be opening for them. And then these bands that we're more popular than, we will tend to be the opener. There's a couple in here that are from the St. Louis area that would be headliners, although they are more popular than us. So that might be the litmus there. I don't know if we can't sort by popularity. I'm kind of leaning towards traveling with a more popular band and just gathering some money, and then maybe we do another one that's more local that we headline. I feel like that might not be the worst idea. We could take one of these bands that's way outside of our district, like Sacramento, or I like to do the East Coast. There's a lot of cities really close together there. Can hit a whole bunch of them at once. Maybe, I don't know that I want to go all the way up to Seattle just yet. Texas isn't a bad place to get started. Southeast, I'm kind of leaning towards that New Hampshire band. That's the one I was thinking, the Brilliant Nerve. I don't hate the name of the band. They're not too much more popular than us, but enough that they should open a couple of doors. We could also do Outlandish Walk. Let's go with these guys. And one thing I think is kind of cool, it tells you why they're touring. The Brilliant Nerve is releasing a new CD on July 21st and is ready to tour in support of it. Well, we've already released ours, right? So we're ready to get going. They're from the Northeast. Let's go ahead and pick somewhere more in the Northeast than us to start this one. I don't know. How about, yeah, let's why not? Let's do Washington, D.C. We're going to start in Washington, D.C. with the Brilliant Nerve. And again, I could be totally blowing this. Might be the worst idea ever to start outside of our local area. I really just don't know. A couple of things I want to do here. I want us to have gigs scheduled on Sundays because Sundays don't normally get used by the game engine. It will schedule you on those though if you do this. The other thing, I want to have either Fridays or Saturdays where we get to actually go and visit the local establishments and start to get some reputation in the places that we're visiting. So we could do both. We could do one or the other. I don't know, 5 days a week and then 2 days to kind of do our own thing isn't the worst. But also, if you're doing it this way, these will be larger venues because the smaller venues aren't open Monday through Thursday. They only do Fridays and Saturdays. That's another reason to consider doing this. There's a piece of me that's like, let's tour 6 days and take 1 day break. But I also kind of wouldn't mind hitting the extra city here and there. So I think we're going to try this. I haven't done it this way before. Could be a huge mistake, folks. Don't know yet. Don't know. And then we're going to limit the tour area. We get to select effectively the states or territories that we are willing to visit. Well, we're starting in Washington, so we should probably make sure we check Washington. And then I'm basically just going to select kind of states in the Northeast of the United States. I am not entirely familiar with the Canadian provinces and where they're located exactly. I know Yukon is west, so I'm not going to pick that one. But we have West Virginia, Vermont. And we won't necessarily visit all of these, but it gives us options. I know Quebec is more east, Pennsylvania, and it will put together a fantastic little tour for us. I've always been very impressed with how this one works. There's fantastic algorithms to track distance and things like that are built by computer scientists to kind of help with things like route planning and that. They're algorithms that you can use. But when somebody implements them well, I love that. I do know Newfoundland and Labrador or in the Northeast. I think New Brunswick is too, but we're going to skip it. It might not even send us into Canada if we're being honest. It's just how it works. It doesn't, we don't control it. We won't absolutely visit every one of these. I'm just trying to pick ones that would make some sense up there. I feel like I'm missing a couple. I know Delaware and Connecticut are going to be up here a little more. Oh, you know what? I said Washington and I meant to say DC, didn't I? Oops. Let's go back and get rid of that one. That would be a crazy thing for it to do. I don't think it would do that, but you never know. I think that's most of them. I think if nothing else, gives us a really good Yeah, I think we're in good shape there. Yeah, we're going to go with that. Ohio, I would probably include if we were doing a little bit more of the Midwest. And again, it's only going to schedule for however long we ask it to here. So we can tell it to start within the next, basically a week from today would be the earliest it can get started. We can ask it to push that out a little bit. It isn't the worst idea to go ahead and get going because I know what songs are, I mean, you know, my attitudes are in good shape for this month. Going across the month there, if something weird happens and all of a sudden, 80% of my songs are persona non grata, that could be a mess. But let's go ahead and make it a 3-week tour. That'll make it 15 stops at most. In fact, we could stop midweek too. We could try to get a couple of extra dates in there. Oh yeah, let's do that. I like that date. That's a fun date. And it's a personal one. Has to do with my mom and dad. So there we go. And then let's assign the task. It'll take him a day or two to figure that out. And I did notice sometimes you see him pop up here before he calls you to tell you he's done. I don't know if that's like a bug or what's going on there. Not going to worry about it. Doesn't impact gameplay from what I've seen. So we're going to go with it. Okay. And then I think I did. Yeah, I had already spent time merging. I took the last couple of days and did merges of songs that had parts that were 1s and 3s. That's all I did. I merged them way, way down. Should have gotten, this list is at least 100 songs shorter now because 2 of the days I did nothing but 1s. So there should be at least 100 fewer parts than there were. That was getting really ridiculous. This was getting really, really super long. And I think we're in decent shape now. We don't have anything to do here right this second. Why don't we write a song? And maybe we'll have a brand new song to try out on folks on our tour, because that's okay to do, right? I don't even know where we want to go with it. Why don't we start with attitude and make sure it's something that trust. Let's say we have a decent trust piece. I know somebody had trust because I was merging them. Okay, Xavier has some trust. There we go. Angel does. She does have trust. She just doesn't have any high quality ones yet. Okay, maybe we pass on that. Let's do conformity. Yeah, let's go with conformity. That's one I can get behind. Okay, go down and find a good melody to go with that. We have some 20s. That'll get us by. Might want to rethink this piece though. We got some 35s here from Kiwi. Rhythm. So if we just do 20s, we need to hit a little bit better in the red. We'd have to get at least a 25. There is a 35 available. So we might be able to make this work. Let's go ahead and pick this 20. I think that 35 riff fits there. Hopefully we find a melody. We do. We got at least one to get us to 100. Chad has one as well. Angel, let's go with Chad's piece. Not too difficult of a song. I saw that, was it Topher? Topher had a 16. That wouldn't crush it. Let's save that in case we need the 16 later. And then let's call this, oh, I don't know. Maybe be kind of the opposite of, that'd probably be more like Defiance, not. So it fits for today though, doesn't it, folks? We could probably use that. I feel like we've used some of these names already. Come on. And it'll be, let's do High Energy. I already have a song with that title. Of course, the one I pick. Let's do Structure in Society. That one I just dreamed up, actually. Not on my list. I can barely read the list, honestly. It's printed too small for my current situation. So, yeah, there we go. All right, well, we wrote that song. That looks great. Happy about that. Nothing really substantial happening right now. Let's get through this week. I want you to see what happens once we get to the end of the week when we have an album that was sponsored by a group. Also, oh, it looks like he's starting to come up with dates for us, by the way. So your next gig is in 6 days in Washington. Okay, well, let's merge some parts. Maybe we go ahead and write a second song as well to just kind of solidify having a couple of new things to try out. We're going to start with one of these 35s this time, though. So let's see what those match with. I talked about being strategic about what you end up placing, and I'm kind of thinking let's look at that. So let's see if we can get any, is it riffs with triangle bottoms up a little bit. That's what I'm kind of thinking. She has a 20. I don't see where anything's going to get much better than that. Okay, and then if we use that 20 square rhythms, can we bump up any rhythms with squares? But we have a decent one here. I think we might have a good shot at a 100-point song. So let's just go ahead and merge what we can merge. I don't see anything that plays directly into what we were doing. And let's not make it a conformity song. Does she have trust to merge? She does. Let's make that happen. There was another one. Make that happen. Okay, that's some 25s. Oops, we only have 10 points left. So we can do 3s and 1s. And I probably don't have a whole lot of those because I went through and took care of as many as I could. Yeah, we're down to just 1s. And I am almost certain I don't have 1s at this point unless something came in. I merged all the ones I could. Nothing jumping out at me is wiggling, so we're going to call it a day. We'll leave those 4 points on the table, but let's go construct a song. Not of just one quality pieces, though. We're going to start down here with this 35. And we're going to come up here to riff. And I think she had a 20 that we were looking at. And then we had a good piece here. Can we find a 20 that matches that? Digital trust. There we go. 100 points. Loving it. Loving it. We're going to call this one Silent Tears. There we go. Okay, and now he has our gig together. 16 gigs. Our tour together. It is 16 gigs. It starts on Sunday. We have some gaps in there, as you can see. That could be kind of interesting. That'll be some days we're writing songs, I guess. And or we travel home. We don't have the money to buy another home yet. Eventually we will do that. There we go. So that's what he's done for us. Let's have him look at product endorsements in the meantime. Now that we're going to be touring with a big name band, at least a middling band, maybe he can find something interesting for us. We have a few days to kill. Do we want to? I think we will. Let's see if we can find anything local to play. We'll go down a couple of blocks and we'll take a hard right. You know what? The other thing we could do real quick is we could get our instruments repaired. The whole shebang is going to cost us half our money. We'll just do the repair all for now. And we will keep in our back pocket that we could do otherwise. Probably wouldn't hurt to check our instruments and like strings, the consumables, like to call them, and make sure that we're in decent shape there. Good to see you too. Still just openings, but you know what? We could go ahead and do that. We should have 2 songs to play by then. Practice everything. Practice, practice, practice. That should get 2 songs up to 100. And then Start our, oh, you know what? We want to play on a Friday. We want to play on Friday if we can, because the tour starts here and it is probably not starting nearby. Yeah, we're going to have to travel to Washington, D.C. So, with that said, we won't book here.
When's your next gig?
It's far away from here, at least for now. Let's see if we can find something else. Maybe the Blue Strawberry will have something for us to try.
Staying out of trouble? When's your next gig?
They do not. Okay, so probably not going to be playing anything this week then. We're just going to do some housekeeping is what it comes down to. So let's go home. And you know what? I think instead of boring everybody with that housekeeping, maybe I will go ahead and do some of that on my own. I will practice these 2 songs that we've written up so that we can use them on our tour. Might even write one more, 1, 2, 3. It won't be quite enough time. We do have time to come home here before we have that in Springfield, Mass. Maybe. It's probably a 2-day drive to get out there. We're probably going to have to leave Friday to get out there. So practice, practice, practice. It's going to be really, really close. But let me go ahead and let me work through that, do some merging. I might write a song or 2. Well, no, I probably won't be writing a song or 2 now. We'll write those in that gap. But we will pick up where we start the tour, which will probably be Friday when I start to drive out there. So that's what we're going to do for now. I want to thank you for joining me. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate it if you do, but there is obviously no obligation to do so. And I do want to thank you for your time one way or another. And until next time, fair travels.